What's up, everybody? It's theRCLman here. Welcome to podcast number 39. We're right there on the cusp of 40, but we'll talk about what we're going to do about the live show at the end of the podcast. How about that? But first off, YouTube, I think YouTube hates me. All right, let me explain. I've been trying to do this Detroit Become Human full playthrough, right? Full playthrough. So you would think that the most important episode would be episode 1, right? The episode where, like, it's going to intro the entire thing, right? So, naturally, you don't want that episode to look like shit. So, I recorded it. The way I do my recording, at least for that series, is I record all of it on the PlayStation, which records in 1920 by 1080, so 1080p, and I upload that to YouTube, right? Download it then from YouTube, because there's no way to there's no way to get it off of the PlayStation without just uploading it to YouTube and then downloading it. So number one, there's issue number one. I download it to YouTube. YouTube sometimes just says no. Just is like, nah, we're not going to let you download this. So they have to re-upload it. That takes a whole mess of time. Once you finally get it downloaded, if you download it immediately, as soon as it gets done processing, it'll download in like some crappy resolution, like 6 something, I don't even know, some ridiculously small pixel, whatever. So you have to wait for it to process like double time, because it has to process the 1080 video. So once you finally get that, you can download the 1080 video. So I download that, put it into my video editor, get the video done, export the video, right? Put it back on YouTube with thumbnail, description, all that stuff. And then I premiere episode 1. And one of the viewers, Justice, he was there at the premiere. He saw it. It looked like garbage, dude. I don't know what YouTube did to my video, but it made it look like garbage. And I bet you right now, if you go watch it, it will still be blurry. Even though I re-uploaded it, I re-edited it, and then re-export it and put it back in there or whatever. YouTube hates me, and it just does not want to make my video 1080 for some reason. Like, I looked at it, it was like, oh, you're sitting at 360p or whatever the crappiest lowest level of quality is. And I'm like, you know, if you did this on like episode 10, you know, it would still be bad, but it would be a little bit just a eensy weensy bit more acceptable. But the fact of the matter is, this is episode 1. If somebody wants to start Detroit Become Human and watch my videos on it, that first 2 minutes of the video looks like dog shit. Like, I don't know what to do about it. I've tried re-uploading it and waiting for it to process and everything. It just doesn't work. So anyway, YouTube hates me. I'm going to keep doing the series. You know, maybe hopefully something, you know, will click and it'll be decent quality. Anyway. Also, just a little update on last week. The cat, who is blind now, he's okay though. He's basically back to normal. He's just blind. But even so, I think he's faking it, because he's like playing, and it's like, you know, you can like he'll run up to you, and if you like go like, hey, stop, like, you don't even have to say anything, somehow he'll like know that you're there. So I don't know, he might be faking. Anyway, this is the RCL podcast. Every week we go through some of the top video game news stories for the week, or just things that I think that are important. After that, we go through a little bit of how the channel's doing, how, you know, what the subscriber count is, and what plans are for the next week. If you would like to join us on the journey there, you can subscribe, youtube.com/theRCLman. Go to Twitch, catch the streams, twitch.com/theRCLman, or at theRCLman on Twitter. Anyway, today we're going to get into some news. Let's see. First off, Fortnite stealing from Apex Legends again. You know, obviously Apex Legends is a superior battle royale, so they must, you know, steal from it. Anyway, we'll talk about that in detail. Gamestop having some issues, slowly circling the drain. I don't know, might be able to be saved, who knows. Ninja jumps off the Twitch ship, and we'll talk about that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the new stuff, shall we? Okay, so first off, let's talk about what's been going on the past week. Okay, there has been what, 3 shootings, maybe 4 at this point. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I lost count. And sympathy and prayers go out to everybody who is affected by that, who is dealing with that in real time, because obviously I wasn't necessarily affected by those, but it kind of affects all of us. But the point I want to get to here is that the first thing that happens is politicians say, hey, video games are the culprit, and that's the reason that this happened, which is just stupidly untrue. Like, there's so many studies and stuff that just say, hey, that's not true. It's just like a scapegoat. Like, just this is who we need somebody to blame. Put video games out there. You know what I mean? So it's just not true, and that's just BS. And we, just, I don't know, try and ignore it, I guess. That's it. I mean, I'm pretty sure nothing will come of it. It's more of just a distraction and a scapegoat. But anyway, let's get back to actual new stuff. Well, I mean, that is new stuff, but you know what I'm saying. I want to touch on something we talked about last week. No Man's Sky update last week. I was like, hey, we haven't heard anything about it. They said summer. Turns out that a couple days ago, maybe it was probably like right after I put the podcast out, update for No Man's Sky Beyond is going to be on August 14th. We'll add VR, so that's the biggest thing I'm wanting to do. On the 13th, I'm going to put No Man's Sky in and let it update all the way, and then on the 14th, it should update, and we'll see what is the 14th. I'm not sure if that's, I don't know. I might do a stream in it that day, just because I want to try it out. But it'll add VR. It'll add some new multiplayer, like from what I saw or heard rather, it was like would just make multiplayer easier to find people and get to people. And then there's a third thing that they haven't necessarily told us, but they've said like there's another piece that will come with this update, but they haven't told anybody what it is. So it's interesting to see what that is. But I'm just happy to play it in VR, and I want to see like if I can actually, because that game never grabbed me. Like, it was always just kind of like, I'm interested, but nothing ever really fully caught my eye. I never like fully got into it. So maybe it being in VR and whatever they add would help with that. But let's go back to the stories we talked about earlier. Fortnite stealing from Apex Legends. Well, not exactly. That's a little misleading. Fortnite will add titans or mechs or whatever you want to call it, giant fighting robots, essentially. Theirs is piloted by 2 people. The reason why I say they stole it from Apex is because Apex Legends is based in the Titanfall universe. Titanfall is the giant mech fighting thing. I mean, that's what Titanfall is. It's giant mechs that shoot and everything. So kind of like, and there was a comment by the developer from Apex, or from Respawn rather, excuse me, and they said that they built it out. They put a mech in the game and they tested it out, and it didn't quite work for the way Apex is, because they couldn't get it to balance right. Because if you have a giant robot come into the game, you need it to be powerful to where it gives you an advantage, but you don't need it to be so powerful that it breaks the game and nobody else has a chance. I mean, you do want to give you an advantage for getting that far, but you also want to make sure that it's not just completely OP. You know what I mean? I mean, the L-Star was said to be OP, but honestly, I can't control the L-Star. L-Star is the gun in the game, if you don't know. So they said that L-Star was going to be OP, and it wasn't really, or at least to me, but that's just because I can't control it. You know what I mean? So that's what's happening in Fortnite news. We haven't talked about Fortnite in a good minute on the RCL podcast. Let's see here. GameStop laid off 50 managers. So essentially, I think about 6 months ago, maybe a year ago, they tried to sell themselves. They tried to sell GameStop because obviously they're not doing good. And nobody would buy it. Nobody would touch it. Nobody wanted it. So I think, if I'm remembering correctly, their CEO stepped down, or they got a new CEO or something. And essentially they're going through a restructuring. So restructuring as in firing 50 maybe more employees. But it doesn't seem like they were, from the headlines that I read, it was managers. So it wasn't store level employees, and maybe not even like general managers of stores. It was more like regional managers, like managers of whole sections of the US or whole sections of wherever. And when they had a map, I'm going to try and find it. They had a map that was like, these are all the regions that we have, but then now we're switching it to where we only have like 4 or 5 regions. Like, so it's a big restructuring, and they got rid of a bunch of regional managers. What that means for the consumer, like somebody, walking into GameStop, I don't quite know. You know what I mean? That I don't really know if that would translate to anything for consumers. And it was an interesting thing I saw the other day. There's a place that they're opening near me, that's like a game hub, like a place that you go to play games with other people. So you can imagine, I don't know, I guess like an arcade, except for more of like console-based games and PC-based games and stuff like that. It's kind of a strange concept, but I think that with their restructuring, that may be what they're going for, or that may be something that they're going to try and do. Make GameStop more into like a hangout spot, you know what I mean, with the store, if you want to buy stuff. But I don't know, we'll just have to see. And honestly, if they do go that way, I think that might be the best possible chance they have to salvage a store, because everything is digital now. You just hit a button and download it, and you'll have it. And it might take a couple hours depending on how big it is and what your internet's like, but just digital has pretty much killed it. And you could even see that if you go into GameStop, you can tell like over half the store is just merchandise and not even games anymore. Or it's like a bunch of cards, and then you have like a bunch of stuffed animals and board games and figurines and stuff like that. So, you can see that happening. You can see, and that was a decision that I think their last CEO made that kind of made it to where they could stay open a little bit longer, but it didn't necessarily improve the longevity, of the GameStop. And so I think that's what they're trying to figure out, a way to actually save their business now, instead of just kind of letting it circle the drain, But we'll see what happens there. Last big thing here, Ninja leaving Twitch. Now, there's a couple things here. Number one, he got paid a bunch. Nobody knows what he got paid. It's not been disclosed. He got paid a bunch. He went to Mixer, which is Microsoft's. So Twitch is owned by Amazon. Microsoft owns Mixer. I personally have never been on Mixer. I've never really looked at it at all. When you try and stream on an Xbox, which is made by Microsoft, which I don't know who doesn't know that, but I'm just putting the dots together here. It's made by Xbox. So if you go on Xbox, you can stream on Twitch, but you have to open Twitch's separate app and then broadcast from there. Mixer is integrated into the Xbox. So they're definitely trying to push that, and then obviously, getting one of the biggest Twitch streamers to move platforms completely. They're obviously going to bring people to their platform. The question this poses for me is, do I switch? You know what I mean? Or do I keep on with Twitch? Or, what is this going to do? God, I keep burping. What is this going to do for Twitch in the long run? The guidelines for being monetized or partnered or affiliate or whatever the thing is called for Mixer, I've seen a list of them, and it doesn't seem like they're as strict. So what that says to me is that I'm hoping it will make Amazon and or Twitch kind of ease up on the restrictions a little bit, maybe be a little bit more, what's the word, not transparent, a little bit more open arms, if you know what I mean, improve a little bit, because it hasn't really changed at all since whenever, you know what I mean. It's just kind of been the same thing, and it hasn't really, no improvements have happened. There's no, as I've said before, system of discovery on there. It's all just kind of if you're already big, you're big, you know what I mean. There's no way for anybody else to kind of grow. There is, but it's mostly from outside. So, who knows? Maybe this will prompt them to do some sort of change. Maybe be more okay with smaller streamers, help them out a little bit more. who knows, it could have the opposite effect and go the complete opposite way. They're going to aggressively keep their popular people and, throw all the little guys under the bus. We don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to ask, what do you guys think would happen? Is there any effect that you're worried about that's going to happen, or that you predict is going to happen with the whole Twitch mixer thing? Or, you could even throw YouTube gaming in there, because they have streaming for YouTube gaming. I do it every 2 days a week, Wednesday and Friday. So, I think that's about it for news stuff. Alright, channel news. So, right now, up to 318 on YouTube. That may be lower or higher, depending on when you watch this. I know that earlier it was at 319 subscribers, and then it dropped back down to 318. I always hate to see that happen, but it does every once in a while. Twitch, still at 41. I don't expect Twitch to grow. Like I said earlier, no system of discoverability, but that's fine. You know what I mean? I play Apex Legends. This is my fun game. I might switch it to something. We'll see. Let's see. What's the next thing here? Sorry, I've lost track. So videos for the week, I'm going to keep doing Detroit Become Human. I've got a lot of those recorded. I still need to record some more. And then I'm going to try and pepper in some other random, free Steam games, or just random Let's Plays in there in between, just so that it doesn't kill the channel completely, because of the way that big, longer series like these work, unless it's, something really popular. Pretty much the first one gets the most views, and then after that it drops off. So, I didn't want to kill the channel, you know what I mean? But we'll see what happens. Let's see. I've been trying to do a little bit better on social media. If you've been on the Twitter at all, at theRCLman, if you've been on Twitter at all, I've been trying to, retweet stuff, do actual tweets myself. Try and, I actually went through and unfollowed everybody, and then only followed select people as I see fit, because it was kind of at one point where I had just follow everybody, you know what I mean, just follow everybody all the time, and it really makes your Twitter feed just a garbled mess. So I figured I could stop that, only subscribe or follow certain people, and make it a little bit not as overwhelming, I guess, because it's just so much stuff being thrown at you at once. So yeah, I've been trying to do better on social media. I'm not very good at that. I'm very old when it comes to social media in general, so I'm just trying to get better at that. Let's see. So I was originally planning. Oh, you hear the cat playing. I was originally trying to take those improv classes to make the Let's Plays better. I do still want to do that, but at the moment, we kind of had to take all of our money and save the cat, so I can't really do any of the improv classes now. I'm going to have to wait until their next available opening for it or whatever, but it's okay. You know what I mean? I'll still try and improve, do things better, and then hopefully, by that time, I also have to buy tires. So we need some tires so the tires don't pop. But other than that, we'll worry about the improv classes when we get there. I will still be looking into those to try and do those. And last thing here is that the podcast number 40 will be recorded live in Rec Room. So if you want to be on the podcast, just jump in the Rec Room with me on Saturday. So Saturday at lunchtime. So 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Unfortunately, I don't know what that is for everybody in the U.S. I guess... Let's see. I think everybody, because I'm all the way on the right side of the U.S., so I think everybody else, it would be earlier, right? I'm pretty sure. Anybody on the left side, I don't know about anybody in Australia as well, because they would probably be nighttime for them. But what I'm going to try and do is do one on Saturday at lunchtime, and then do another one on Wednesday during my normal stream. Try and do that just so I can kind of get everybody in there. Whoever wants to be in there, So, just join me on the Wednesday stream or Saturday at noon. I'll do that. The thing is, I don't know about Wednesday, because Iron Warrior has made a room. If you're on the Discord, you already know about it. and he said I was going to get exclusive rights to stream that first. So I do want to check out that room and see how it is. But we'll check that out Wednesday and see what happens. Everybody, well, thank you for joining me for podcast 39. That was a long one, man. Let's see. So, join us Saturday for podcast number 40 at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then also Wednesday, try and cut it in there as well on the normal stream. If you did like this, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, everybody. RCL Man out.